Today, we are digging into a huge proposed change to U.S. immigration rules. And this one could seriously shake things up for hundreds of thousands of international students, researchers, and journalists. So, let's get right into it.
So just imagine this for a second. You're deep into your PhD, years of work, or maybe you're in the middle of a huge research project. And then, bam, you have to stop everything to apply for a visa extension. And there's absolutely no guarantee you'll even get it. That's the exact scenario that could become a reality for so many people.
So what's all the fuss about? Well, the Department of Homeland Security is looking to scrap a policy that's been around for decades. It's called duration of status, and it's the rule that governs F visas for students, J visas for exchange visitors, and I visas for foreign media.
Let's break that down. What is duration of status? Well, it's a policy that's been in place since the late 70s, and it basically says, look, if you're here to study, you can stay for as long as your program takes, as long as you're following the rules. There's no fixed end date. It's all about providing flexibility and, honestly, some peace of mind.
This new proposal, it flips the whole system on its head. Instead of that flexible stay, it brings in a hard fixed deadline. We're talking a maximum of 4 years for students and exchange visitors, and for foreign media, just 240 days. If you need more time, you have to go through the whole process of applying for an extension.
Okay, so the big question is why? Why this huge change, and why now? Well, the Department of Homeland Security gives a couple of key reasons, and it really starts with the massive scale of these programs today.
First off, it's a numbers game. We are talking about a lot of people. Just in the last academic year alone, there were about 1.6 million international students on F visas in the U.S. And from the government's perspective, that is a huge number of people to keep track of.
And it's not just a snapshot. The DHS is pointing to what they're calling a dramatic rise over the last few decades. Just look at this. Student visas have multiplied. Exchange visitor visas have shot up too. The government's argument is that this growth makes the current flexible system really hard to monitor effectively. And here's the official justification, straight from the source. A DHS spokesperson said the old system allows people to stay virtually indefinitely, which they claim creates safety risks. They're positioning this new rule, with its hard deadlines, as a way to end what they call abuse and get a better handle on who is in the country.
But as you can imagine, that is definitely not the whole story. There's a huge pushback coming from the academic world and immigration advocates. They're raising some really serious red flags about the potential chaos this could cause.
This quote here from Miriam Feldblum really nails the core of the opposition's argument. They're worried about uncertainty, about government getting too involved in academic timelines, and this is a big one, about the U.S. becoming a less attractive place for the world's best and brightest.
Let's get specific. The biggest worry here is just massive disruption. Think about a PhD student whose research takes 5, maybe 6 years. A 4-year visa limit throws them into total limbo right in the middle of their work. And it creates a mountain of paperwork, not just for the student, but for universities and for the government agencies that are already swamped.
So it's really important to remember this is not a done deal. Not yet anyway. It's a proposal. And that means there's a whole process that has to play out. And a really critical part of that process is a chance for the public to weigh in.
And wow, that window is tight. The public only gets 30 days to submit official comments on this rule. This is the main way that regular people, universities, and different organizations can speak directly to the government and make their case.
So you might be wondering, how can I actually get involved? Well, it's a formal process, but it's pretty straightforward. First, you have to find the actual proposal online in a place called the Federal Register. Then you write up your comment. It can be a personal story, or it can be data-driven analysis. And finally, you submit it through the official online portal before the deadline. And by law, they're supposed to review every single comment.
And here's the thing. This might feel a bit like déjà vu, because this is not the first time this idea has been on the table. A nearly identical rule was proposed back in 2020. It got a flood of public comments, over 32,000 of them, and most were strongly against it. That rule was eventually withdrawn, but the fact that it's back now tells you it's a persistent goal for some policymakers.
And it's not just individuals speaking out. There are big, organized efforts underway. Groups like NFSA, which is a huge organization for international educators, are gearing up for another big campaign. They were key in fighting this last time, and they're arguing again that this rule would just be a huge step backward for American education.
Which really brings us to a key question we have to ask. If the government's stated goal is better monitoring and preventing people from overstaying their visas, is this kind of complete overhaul the only way to do it? Or, are there other, less disruptive ways to get there that don't end up penalizing students and researchers who are doing everything right?
So here we are. The clock is ticking and the process is moving forward. The last time this came up, public opposition was fierce. The big question now is, with thousands of voices ready to weigh in again, will it be enough to change, delay, or maybe even stop this rule from becoming final?